Hi everyone. Okay, thank you for waiting. Welcome to Keeping Up with Changing HR Landscapes webinar. So this webinar, we'll be talking about various HR trends as well as HR challenges as SME face. We'll also be covering some HR solutions as well as grants that you can leverage on. So we'll be recording this whole webinar and sending the recording to you at the end of it. So no worries, you don't have to record it yourself. And if you miss out anything, it's fine. At the end of the webinar, we'll be sending over the recording as well as a survey feedback form. So appreciate if you can help us fill it up. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to just put it in the chat. You can also private message JustLogin host or Janice from JustLogin if you have any questions or you have any technical issues regarding your audio or such. So without further ado, I'll pass on to Duncan, who will be the presenter of this webinar. Hi, Duncan.
Hi, Ying. Afternoon, everybody. So I'm your host for today, and what we'll be covering is the changing HR landscapes for SMEs here in Singapore. So without further ado, let me just push ahead. So in 2015 and 16, right, we saw quite a number of dramatic changes that are reshaping the workplace in Singapore as we know it. As HR takes on a more strategic role in this ever-changing landscape, we're going to take a look at some key trends for the new HR professional of today. What we found actually is that recruitment and retention continue to remain a key priority for those operating in HR. Organizations that recognize value of engaging their staff and effectively communicating and complying with regulatory employee benefits, they tend to see improved productivity, profitability, and employee loyalty to the business. So with the growth of consumerization in the workplace, 2017 will actually see the employee engagement process actually now morph into what we call an employee experience life cycle. Now, this is where HR leaders will actually look into the creation of what we call memorable customer experiences for employees that covers anything from the recruitment process to the office environment or the quality and access to technology. So how often do your employees actually receive positive feedback on the quality of their work? Traditional performance reviews are ironically about getting bad reviews, and many accept that it's time for a change. We've actually found that in 2015-16, quite a number of big name companies like GE and Adobe have announced their decision to do away with what we call annual performance reviews. And we've moved from recognition against years of service into daily social recognition, regular conversations and coaching or mentoring rather than traditional management. Your millennial workforce expects instant gratification from technology and social interactions, and it's a trend that translates into their daily working lives. What is more, many organizations face uncertainty and change from month to month, especially in the SME space, or even week to week. So the idea of setting an objective at the start of the year and expecting it to remain the same for the next 12 months is outdated as a concept. We are already seeing an evolution of the HR professional from process-led administrators to vital strategic partners, championing change at their leadership level. Machines and automation will be taking over routine tasks and leave the jobs of their human counterparts in flux. The HR technologists' knowledge of both current and disruptive technologies will be vital in overcoming any friction that arises. Providing guidance to teams on how to move over to new ways of work, developing proper workforce plans and career paths that take machine workers into account. So here we find common HR challenges that are driving change for Singapore SMEs today. In the last 18 to 24 months, HR managers and company administrators have to frequently keep tabs on MOM's ever-changing rules and regulations, as well as policies. And in some instances, when poorly managed, lead to actually negative employee experiences, or in worst cases, attrition. As well, in the last decade, approximately 10,000 baby boomers have actually turned 65 every day, and this trend will continue for the next 15 years. The workplace in Singapore is undergoing a demographical shift, with the millennial workforce setting the tone for employee engagement. As boundaries between defined departments become more blurred, organizations are moving from structured processes to projects that require team members with a multitude of skills. With more forms of automation being introduced in the workplace, employees are expecting to work shorter hours. In a recent release by MOM in March this year, the average hours worked every week per employee is currently under 45 hours, which is actually the lowest in over a decade. HR professionals must expect to work more closely with IT to leverage insights like big data. And what they will find are results that will be more strategic, data-led approaches to ensure better hiring outcomes, employee optimization, and most definitely lower attrition rates. So we're going to talk in a couple of areas in terms of rules, regulations, and compliance. And specific to our government, they're actually placing a greater focus on HR practices in these three areas. Enhance employee work-life balance, promotion of a more positive workplace culture in Singapore, and emphasis on employers to put in place fair and responsible practices. One example here are actually itemized payslips. Now, from 1st April 2016, employers are actually required to be issued itemized payslips and key employment terms for anyone that is actually covered under the Employment Act. Now, this grace period has actually ended in March this year. And just to give you an example, if you actually have a company with 20 employees that repeatedly fail to comply over the course of 1 year, you could actually face up to $48,000 in fines. So how many of you in the audience today have recently become parents or already have children? Now, beyond our annual sick leave and annual leave, one of the most confusing benefits that most employers struggle to effectively put in place are child-related leave. 6 out of the 8 types of mandated leave entitlements are actually child-related. In addition, here are some recent changes that would include, from 1st of January this year, paid paternity leave has actually increased to 2 weeks for fathers of babies born on and after January 1st, 2017. And effective in Q1 this year, the 16-week statutory maternity leave has also been extended to unmarried mothers. We can also expect on 1st July 2017, the shared parental leave will now be increased to 4 weeks. So business owners and HR managers today have to not only track their employees, but actually have to be able to track the age of their employees' children up to actually the age of 12. For employees with children aged 7 to 12, they will be entitled to what we call extended childcare leave. And you can see in the examples below, children of Singapore citizens actually are entitled to 6 days of leave for children 0 to 6 years old. And if their child is already 7 to 12, they're actually entitled to another 2 days of leave for Singapore citizens. So this is a platform of yesterday. Does your organization actually still rely on traditional forms to update, track, manage the HR needs of your workforce and actually still remain compliant? So as we've highlighted earlier, it would be good if you can just spare a moment to raise your hands if you have more than 1/3 of your workforce that are over the age of 20 or between the age of 20 to 35. So some of us actually might not be aware, but actually today, over 50% of your workforce actually consists of millennials. And this number is going to grow by 2020. Not surprisingly, a lot of industries today are actually already welcoming the Gen Z group of adults into their organizations via internship programs. Now, because these young adults grew up alongside mobile and social technology, they are not actually defined by career goals and bring more than a single skill set to the table. Now, this actually presents a new set of challenges within the SME workspace. Number one, these individuals actually demand immediate gratification for their accomplishments, and they also expect instant access to information and tools on any device to complete their job or their task. Also, in a recent study, we actually found that millennials in Singapore actually spend the most time on the internet. And as you can see from the graph here, many are actually switching their internet usage from computers to mobile devices as their preferred user experience platform. So just a quick view in terms of your platform of today. Your employees are actually expecting to be able to view their itemized pay slips, make their leave applications, or even be able to clock in and clock out for all their projects via a mobile device. And we can actually agree that technology will be driving HR efficiency. For many of the SMEs here today, we are actually still struggling, or we actually see a lot of prospects that are still struggling with Excel spreadsheets and to even some degree paper forms. Now, these barriers for adoption have typically been due to the high cost of implementing and maintaining a HR solution that can be custom or tailored to their business. But actually, as we are gearing up to HR of the future, with software today offered as a service over the internet, a SaaS-based model, businesses have a wide variety of cost-effective solutions that can be actually customized to their needs. So what is actually software as a service or SaaS? It basically means that you have access to information anywhere, at any time, on any device, so long as you have internet connectivity. You actually have a pay-per-use subscription pricing, and this provides scalability to ensure that you only pay for what you need when you need it. There's zero maintenance contracts, so upgrades, backups, infrastructure, these are all managed by your vendor. And the best thing is that there's no hardware that is required. You just log in. So why is your HR in the cloud going to make more sense? Now, the first thing is that customer feedback actually drives constant innovation. And your applications will be consistently updated with the latest government regulation or policy changes. And if there's any new developments to technology, every single customer actually enjoys automatic upgrades, for better user experience and better performance outcomes. So essentially, what can we expect from HR of the future? For some of you that watched the video clip earlier, with actually big data analytics, you will now be able to predict who would be likely within your team to resign in the next 3 to 6 months. And this will be based on their behaviors, like how often do they take leave, how many hours are they putting in for OT, and when was the last time they might have had their pay raise. And the best thing is that for your millennial workforce, your employees can actually expect a whole different end user experience with direct interactions with their applications. So what I want to be able to do here is to just show you a quick sneak peek in terms of JustLogin's eLeave chatbot. This is built actually using Facebook Messenger. And because we are a cloud-based platform, when we actually launch this particular functionality, it will be actually enjoyed by all the customers as a form of free and automatic upgrade. Here's a quick preview. So you can see here, this is the employee is actually directly interacting with the application itself. When he chooses what kind of leave type, and he clicks on the specific leave type, it actually tells him how many days of leave he has balance. And of course, from there, he can make a decision whether he wants to apply for paid leave or he wants to take annual leave, and so on. Now, with all these changing HR landscapes, there's also a lot of grants that are actually currently available for SMEs here in Singapore. And I'm just going to highlight a couple of key grants that most of our customers are actually exploring at this point in time. So one of the grants is actually called a work-life grant. And this is actually sponsored by the Ministry of Manpower. And it actually provides funding and incentives for companies to offer flexible working arrangements, what we call FWA, for their employees. The aim here is to help the employees to better manage work and family responsibilities and enhance the pro-family environment in Singapore. And this actually consists of two components, which you can actually tap on for one or both. So the FWA incentive actually encourages companies to support more employees on FWAs and actually provide and sustain work-life friendly workplaces. The incentive should actually be used to nurture and further workplace cultures that support a better work-life harmony. And you can actually receive these subsequent tranches of payouts for your company to sustain these work-life practices in your office. So how do you actually put this in place? What you need to be able to have is a work-life ambassador from your senior management to act like a champion for a work-life friendly workplace. And once you have a program in place, this needs to be communicated across to your organization in terms of the new policies that you're putting in place for your employees. You also have to have formalized 2 or more flexible working arrangements for your staff as a form of HR policy. And the other thing is that you can have no more than 6 to 10 employees on the same sort of flexible working arrangement, which will count towards 20 or 30% of your utilization requirement. Now the next here is what we call a developmental grant. Now this is a one-time grant of up to $40,000 per company to help you to take steps towards implementing work-life strategies. Again, in order for you to be eligible for grants like this, you need to be able to appoint a work-life ambassador from your senior management, and they need to be able to champion a work-life friendly workplace and effectively communicate all these policies to the staff. For this particular grant though, you need to have at least one employee complete what we call the work-life training course. So here you can see for the incentive itself, over a 3-year span, your company can claim up to $120,000. And again, how it works out is really based on the number of unique employees that are using this particular grant. And from the 5th employee onwards, the additional incentives that are there. Now, the next grant that I want to be able to share with you is actually something which is slightly more straightforward, which is called the Innovation and Capability Voucher. I think most of SMEs here would have heard of a grant like this, which is actually a simple and easy to use voucher, which is valued at $5,000, sponsored by Spring, and it's really to help SMEs develop their business capabilities. Now, you can use these vouchers to upgrade and strengthen your core business operations, either through consultancy in the areas of innovation, productivity, human resources, and financial management. But apart from consultancy, you can also use it to support sort of adoption and implementation of pre-scope integrated solutions to improve business efficiency and productivity. Now, the process for Spring essentially is, if you go to Spring Singapore, they have a pre-approved list of vendors with pre-approved set of solutions that you can actually apply for. And we also happen to be one of the pre-approved vendors, which I can show you later on, one of the solutions that how it actually looks like. So how do you actually qualify? Again, each SME is actually entitled to a maximum of 8 vouchers, and you can use this for 8 different kinds of projects. And to be able to be eligible, you need to be a registered and operating business in Singapore. You need to have a minimum of 30% local shareholding with a group annual turnover of not more than 100 million or not more than 200 employees. The other interesting fact is that so long as during the submission process, once your application has been approved, you basically will be able to claim the entire amount for the ICV voucher within a 6-month time frame. So once your project has been implemented, you have a 6-month time frame to make your claim. So what I wanted to be able to show you here is just a quick sneak peek in terms of how JustLogin's payroll solution actually works, or actually currently looks like. So you actually have your individualized homepage. Your employees will be able to see their itemized pay elements. We have a graphical representation or breakdown in terms of where their salary is coming from. And again, this itemized pay slip, they can actually view it on their mobile phone, or they can download it and keep it as a reference copy. We also make it very easy for your employees to apply for their leave. So here, your employees will be able to see their leave history. Your administrators will be able to delegate different forms of approval should people go on leave. And the event that you want to take a block leave for the company. So for example, you might have 2 days of Chinese New Year holiday, but you want to give everybody a 3rd day Chinese New Year break. You can actually have a block leave for all your staff. And the best thing about these applications, they are all available on your iOS and Android devices. So your employees can view their pay slips, they can apply for their leave via mobile. And interestingly enough, we also have what we call a time clock module that allows you to clock in and out with your phone, take a photo and track where you're at if you're doing projects around the island. So with that, I've actually come to the end of my presentation. And I just wanted to let you know that you can actually sign up for JustLogin's free trial. You can download the application on App Store or Google Play for you to have a feel in terms of how the application looks like. And last but not least, we actually have an upcoming ICV workshop. So this is an in-person event that will be coming up soon. And I'll pass over back to Yiting for her to give you more information on what that's about.
Okay, thanks, Duncan. Okay, so this ICV workshop is actually essentially a fast-track session for you to learn about ICV and even sign up for ICV on the spot. Because this very useful grant is actually expiring on 30th June this year, which is less than 2 months away. So in the past few months, we have already helped more than 50 SMEs apply for this ICV grant to implement JustLogin solutions. So given the short time frame left, we really want to help more companies to be able to leverage on this really very easy to apply and useful grant. So I'll be putting the link in the chat. We'll be having breakfast workshops every Wednesday from next Wednesday onwards, and there will be 6 sessions. So the first session is almost filled up because we are limiting to 10 seats per session. Feel free to just sign up for any of the remaining sessions. Yeah, I'll be putting the link here as well, together with the survey feedback form for this webinar. It'd be great if you could help us fill up. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat right now and we will answer them right away. Okay, thank you for your question. So you asked which module of the JustLogin software is applicable for the ICV voucher, leave, time scheduling, or both. So actually the our three main modules, payroll, leave, as well as time and attendance, they are all applicable. The only catch is that you must have the time and attendance module, which is our e-time clock, and then you can bundle it together with payroll and leave for a whole integrated solution. To give you perspective, the $5,000 cash voucher would be able to cover a team of maybe 20 employees for all three modules for 1 year. Okay, so you already have the e-leave system. You can add on the time clock system using ICV. And together you can package that with payroll and claim for the ICV together.
Yeah, just to add on as well, typically for the ICV application process, so it takes, once you've actually done your submission on the Spring portal, it takes about 4 to 6 weeks for your application to be approved. And subsequently, when it's approved, you have a 6-month time frame to implement the solution and make your claim for the voucher. And once you actually have done your claim submission, the claim process takes another 4 to 6 weeks for you to actually get back the full $5,000. So this is just a short overview in terms of timelines. Yeah, so I think one of the questions is time scheduling. Is it a must for FWA? Short answer is yes. Again, for FWA is slightly different because under the flexible work arrangement scheme, we generally need, why you need to have time attendance is because that will actually be where you're tracking the flexible working arrangement for your employees. So the time attendance modules allows you to actually do your scheduling as well as generate reports to track which staff is on what kind of flexible working arrangement. And then subsequently, it will be integrated with your leave and your payroll solution for you to actually have an overview in terms of which are the staff that are applying for work from home kind of leave, and what is the kind of pay arrangement for these staff based on the hours that they are committing on a weekly basis. So yes, so FWA is a slightly different sort of solution because it also entails not only time clock, leave, and payroll, but can also include things like your claims, can also include things like your staff management. So additional modules there.
Okay, I have attached a link from MOM to provide more information about our work-life grant generally. But if you'd like to find out more information regarding for using JustLogin solutions for work-life grant, you can contact us separately and we'll share with you more information in detail.
Yeah, the other thing is just to share with you, I think typically for ICV, if you were to review your the Spring solutions that are available, it's very difficult for SMEs to find to be able to claim the ICV for HR solutions, especially around leave and payroll management, because we are most probably the only provider on that list that can actually give you an integrated time, leave, and payroll solution in the market. So I do encourage you to actually visit Spring and check out all the different vendors and solutions that are out there. We will be the only integrated HR solution that you can actually leverage a grant on.
Does anyone have any more questions? I'll just send over the link again. Please help us do the survey feedback form. And if you'd like to sign up for the ICV workshop, the first one is happening next Wednesday. You can sign up on the link. The 5K Spring, the ICV grant, it does cover the subscription costs. So how does it work is that if you want to go under, we are actually a software as a service, which is subscription based. But if you want to go under ICV, you have to package it as a license solution. So for example, you can pay for 1 whole year or 2 whole years upfront instead of every month. So it's like a prepayment for the 1 or 2 years that you are subscribing for. And so the $5,000 it can cover all costs under JustLogin. It can even cover, if you wish, the cost of an iPad to be used together with our time clock system. Yes, once again, it covers the e-time clock system. So ICV is the main module will be e-time clock. And when you're talking about hardware, the only hardware involved for our time clock is probably any of your iPad or Android tablet device that you might want to use for the time attendance system. And yes, it does cover that. Okay, if you have any last questions, we'll stay here for a few more minutes until 3:45 to answer your questions. Yeah, so once again, for the workshop, it'll be held at our office. So feel free to just join us to find out more information. We'll be providing some light refreshments. So yeah, just feel free to come down and have a casual chat with us.